We have an interesting scenario where a client of mine were recording strike days in South Africa or periods of strikes in South Africa for last year. So they would record the day the strike started, 1st of January, and the day the strike ended, the 4th of January. What they then had to do is create a report that will tell you how many Mondays you had a strike through the year, how many Tuesdays you had a strike. So we need to tell Excel to take the start date of each of these rows, the end date, give me the individual days in between, and then tell me if it's a Monday or a Tuesday and a Wednesday, and then use that information to create a pivot report for the specific days. Now, before I show you how to do this, it is important that you understand that although a day in Excel is entered as, for example, the 1st of January 2020 and the 4th of January, Excel actually records them in the background as numbers. So therefore, you can subtract one day from another day. So if I take these two values and I right click and I say format cells, and I just make them a number format, let's say no decimals, and OK, you will see Excel sees the 1st of January as 43,831 and the 4th of January 2020 as 43,834, and therefore you can subtract the two. So I need to tell Excel, take those number values for each day in between, put them in the list, and then tell me, are they a Monday or a Tuesday or a Wednesday? So let's do that. Let's start off by clicking inside the data, and I'm going to use the Power Query tool to do this. Before I carry on, please remember to click the like button below the video, subscribe to my channel, and don't forget to press the bell button. If you do that, you will receive in future notifications whenever I upload a new video to YouTube. So let's carry on. I click inside, I go to my data tool at the top, I go from table or range. Excel will pick up the data. It will say there's a table that has headers. Yes, I have a start and an end date, and OK. Excel will now open Power Query. You can see at the top it says Power Query, and it gives me a preview of the actual data. Now, Power Query will import data with a time stamp as well. So let's quickly get rid of those. So I'm going to click in this button at the top of this column. I'm going to say only show me the date. And I'm going to replace the column. And there I'm going to do the same, click and say only show it as a date and replace. Now, before I carry on, I want you to show the basics of creating a list. So what I need to do is next to this and this cell on this side, I need to create a list that will put in the number values of the days from the 1st of January till the 4th of January, the same here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and I'm going to say add a column. I'm going to say a custom column. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to show you how to create a list in Power Query. And the way you do is you start with a curly bracket, and then you say in that little cell next to each of these days, I want the numbers 1 up to, let's say, 3, and close the curly bracket. And I go OK. Then you can see it automatically now creates for me a list inside each of those cells. If I click on that cell, you can see on my screen, it says in that cell we have 3 numbers, 1 to 3. In that cell I've got 3 numbers, 1 to 3. All I did now is just show you the basics of creating a list. What I obviously want is I want Excel to put in each of these cells the date values from the 1st till the 4th. Here, the date values or the number value of the days from the 3rd till the 10th. So each of these little, let's call them mini lists, will have different sizes depending on the start and the end date. Now Power Query on the right hand side records all my steps. So I'm just going to delete that step. I just wanted to show you how to create a list. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add a new column. It's going to be a little bit more advanced, just the normal curly brackets we did in the previous exercise. So I'm going to say custom column, and let's call this days in between. Also going to start with the curly brackets. Now I'm going to say I'm interested in the number value from the start column, close my bracket, up to the number value from the end column. Let's see if that makes sense. I want the number value. Remember, Excel sees dates as numbers. So give me the number from the start column up to the number from the end column. Let's click OK. Let's click on that little cell. Let's move it up, and we can see it says that is exactly 4 days from that specific number up to that number. This is exactly 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days. All I need to do is I need to expand these lists so that all of these numbers appear next to each of these days, giving us the exact number of days in between each. So all I do is I click this little button at the top, expand the rows, and there we have it. The fourth, you will see there are 1, 2, 3, 4 days. It gives me the day numbers for those 4 days. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and there we have the 8 days in between those 2 dates. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to tell Excel or Power Query to take these days and actually show them as dates. Remember, a date is actually a number. You can see at the top, I click on that little box and I say convert this to days, and there I can actually see the in-between days. And the next thing I need to do is, or that I'm interested in, is to say tell me, are these Mondays, Tuesdays, or Wednesdays? So I click on the column. I then go to transform in Power Query, and there's a date section. I select that and I say rather show me the days, the name of the days. And there I have my analysis of all the days that we actually had strikes. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to my home button, and I'm going to say close and load. And I'm going to say close and load to. I'm going to say please put this for me into a pivot table report. And let's say we're going to put it there. And now I can use this data on the left hand side and create a daily report. So I'm going to say the days in between, just put them in there. I'm going to use the days in between as my value and just say count. And there I have my perfect analysis. I can say now, given only the start and the end date within Excel, I can now say for each day of the week how many strikes there were for each day. So on a Monday we had 4 strikes for the year. On a Tuesday we had 4, and so it carries on. And what is nice about Power Query, if I should add now a new strike, let's say the 3rd of December 2022, and let's say this carried on up to the 12th of December 2020. It doesn't matter if we say 2022. Let's say 2022. I go to my data at the top. I go refresh all, and let's watch these numbers on the side. And I refresh all, and it will then update all my information, and you can see that all the numbers changed, and I have a perfect analysis on a daily basis of my strikes.